Good evening, Lagos. Good evening, Nigeria. Good evening, world, and welcome to another exciting episode of the recap right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM, the very first episode of the program in the year 2025. And I want to say Happy New Year to you. Welcome back to Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Thank you for always joining us. Thank you for always tuning in. This is the recap where we discuss and analyze the issues that made the major headlines during the week. But this time around, we'll be looking at issues that made the major headlines in 2024. Now, there were certain issues that we discussed in 2024. Issues that dominated national discourse in the year 2024. We'll be looking at quite a few of them today, discussing the issues around all of these issues, and then we'll also be preferring solutions when necessary. Of course, at 5 p.m. Under that, the phone lines will be open so that you can share your thoughts, your ideas, and your suggestions with us right here on the program. My name is Chioma Innocent. And of course, I want to hear from you. Sitting right across from me, I do have my analyst. I'll be introducing him in the course of the program just after I have given you a brief rundown of these topics which we'll be discussing, from the issue of the changing of the national anthem earlier on in the year to the stampedes that dominated national discourse, the hunger stampedes that dominated the all of the discussions on and off air towards the end of the year. We'll be talking about all of this right here on the program. If you're just joining us, thank you for staying with us and welcome. Do tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that the recap has just begun. This is that program where we discuss and analyze issues that made the major headlines during the week. But of course, it's the first edition in the year 2025, so we'll be discussing issues that made the major headlines in the year 2024. If you're just joining us, welcome. We do have quite a lot to talk about. This is Voice of the People 90.3 FM, so we'll not be speaking alone. At some point in the conversation, say 5 p.m., the phone lines will be open, and then we will want to hear from you on the program. We want to hear from you on the program, so I'll let you know the numbers to call when it is time. The voice you're hearing right now belongs to Chioma Innocent, and the next voice you will hear after this will belong to Peter Anosike. My name is Chioma Innocent. Thank you for joining us. Now, let's get into these issues without further ado because of our time. It's already 8 minutes past 4 p.m. right here on the number one station that gives you a voice. So let's get into it. All right, there were certain issues that we just couldn't help but talk about, issues that made the headlines in the year 2024, and we'll be talking about this right away. For the analysis segment on the recap this evening, I do have Mr. Peter Anosike sitting right here. He is a political, social, national, and international affairs analyst. Welcome to the recap, and thank you for joining me, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, and Happy New Year to our listeners.
Thank you so much for joining us again this new year.
It is not easy to survive in Nigeria, so I'm happy that we have survived. Happy New Year to everybody. Welcome to 2025.
Welcome to 2025. Now, while we're trying to take stock of the new year and look at things that we could do differently, we should also look at the things that happened in the past year, the mistakes of the past year, and make sure that they are not repeated. Let's talk about some of the issues that dominated national discourse in the year 2024. Beginning, of course, with the one that many Nigerians heard and were like, okay, what's going on? As the year 2024 of course came to a close, Nigeria did witness quite a number of significant political events that shaped the country's landscape, from policy changes to diplomatic face-offs. These events did have a profound impact on the nation. We'll be beginning with the adoption of the new national anthem. Now, in a bid to promote national unity and identity, the federal government reinstated Nigeria's first national anthem, Nigeria We Hail Thee, which was in use from 1960 to 1978, and then was changed for the Arise Compatriot. But right now, Nigeria has gone back to the old national anthem, which is now the new national anthem, and then the old national anthem becomes the old national anthem. That's so confusing, isn't it?
Very, very confusing.
So for kids in schools who sang Arise a Compatriot on one day and then had to sing Nigeria We Hail Thee on the next.
Well, for me, that the only thing I have about the change is that we were told that over 80 billion naira was spent on it.
On changing the
On the
national
changing
anthem.
the national anthem. 80 billion naira.
But if this money was spent on it, what exactly was this spent on? Was it on the logistics of moving the president from? Was it buying the microphone that was used to announce? So I don't understand. What exactly was the money spent on?
For me, I couldn't wrap my mind around it. I don't know why 80 billion naira must be used in changing from the new to the old national anthem. I agree very well that the old national anthem, Nigeria We Hail Thee, has more meaning, it's more inspiring, it's more motivating than Arise O Compatriots. But what I don't understand is why should 80 billion naira be used in what is already there? Is it maybe producing it mass production, understand? Maybe it is in a cassette and they want to change it that to CD or DVD, or they want to mass produce it and send it that to different states, different organizations. What is that 80 billion naira? Why was 80 billion naira used?
But the federal government did not exactly come out and say, okay, yes, we did spend so amount. The Minister of Budget, National Planning did not come out to say that Nigeria did spend this amount of money. It was just information that was being posted online as at then.
I read that 80 billion naira was used in the changing of Arise O Compatriots to Nigeria We Hail Thee.
Well, some people reported that it was 800 billion. That's reported it was 814 billion, and it's looking like these were actually false reports because no government official came out to say it is true. What you're hearing, it is true.
But did they deny that that the figures were not right? Was there any denial from the government? Did government say no? We did not spend 84 billion. Or we not spend 80 billion, we spend 1 naira or 2 naira. Understand? When somebody is accusing you that you spent some, you should have said no, we did not spend any money, or this is how much we spent. So it was said and government kept quiet.
So they should have come out to deny if it wasn't true.
If it wasn't true, they would have come immediately. That is Bayo Onanoga's this thing now.
That's his job description.
Job now. So if it's not true, he will have countered it immediately.
Fact Check Africa is saying that did not happen, and even though no official of the federal government came out to say that did not happen, from all investigations and fact check, there was no evidence to show that amount of money.
Why didn't government say that it is not true? So are we now ruled by Fact Check Africa? So government did not deny that they did not spend 80 billion or 84.
So you choose to believe that they spent it.
Government did not say no. Government did not.
Where did the report emanate from in the first place? Are we thinking about that?
But you have seen it. It wasn't me that put it there. And those that put it there, government did not come out to say that it is not true.
So you choose to believe the information?
I believed it.
Even if there is no evidence
if the fact
that was actually spent, there was no evidence to the fact that the Minister of Budget and National Planning actually said something like that, and it seems that this was a report fabricated from thin air.
If it was fabricated, government should have come and deny it. Government should have come and deny it. You don't. What they did is that they owned up. When somebody accused you of something, you didn't say no. What it means is that you owned up. And I even choose another one. I was even sympathetic to the government. What you read there is 814 billion, but I choose 80. Understand me? So if it's not true, government should have told us that it's not true.
What was the significance of changing the national anthem, and would you say it's helped to foster a much more patriotic feeling amongst Nigerians?
A hungry man, there's no someone that you will read to a hungry man that he will obey, except you give him or her food. Understand? So whatever reason they changed that thing had not been achieved, it is still on the shelves. Because there's nothing that you will tell a hungry man that he will listen to you. Understand me? There's nothing that you will tell a hungry man that he will listen to you. So the purpose had not been achieved. But I believe that the old national anthem, Nigeria We Held Thee, is more inspiring, more motivating than this Arise of Compatriots.
You believe it's more motivating than even the Rise of Compatriots?
By far. They go to the words, read it, and read that Arise of Compatriots. So
Rise of Compatriots is more or less calling on Nigerians to put in their best to join hands and actually grow this great nation, right? But in Nigeria, what we have is Nigerians hailing a country which many of them will say has not done anything for them.
No, it tells our problem, understand? It tells who we are, understand? Though tongue and tribe may differ, but in brotherhood we stand, understand? And that stanza. Then a country where peace and justice shall reign. Understand? These things are not happening in this country. That's what we need to happen. Peace and justice. Right now, the peace that we have now is peace of the graveyard. Understand? We want justice. And where there's no justice, there can never be peace. Anywhere there's no justice, there can never be peace. So there's no justice in Nigeria. So that old national anthem will keep on telling this government that they are deceiving us, they are lying against us. Understand me? You cannot be singing that national anthem and you still be wallowing in perpetuating injustice.
All right. One thing that many Nigerians complained of when during the national anthem was first changed was the fact that Nigeria We Hail Thee was not written by a Nigerian, but Arise the Compatriot was written by a Nigerian. And many people question the fact that why would we be going back to an anthem which was written and composed by people who colonized Nigerians? And then you had other people like Obieze Kwesili, Aisha Yusufu and others saying that they would not sing this national anthem because that was not what Nigeria needed at that moment. We should rather be focusing on other things than changing national anthem.
That is correct. The medicine that a hungry man needs is food. Understand me? So at that point in time, and even up to Nigerians, we are going through hunger. So that change of national anthem did not make any meaning. That is why I said that even up to now, it is still on the shelf because the purpose has not been achieved. Until the issue of hunger, insecurity is addressed in Nigeria, nobody will take notice of that national anthem. Even the children that are singing it, that's on their assemblies, are not reading any meaning into it.
They're just singing it for singing sake.
For singing sake, because it is being forced on them to sing.
All right. Let's move on in the conversation because of our time. You're listening to the recap right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM, and we're talking about the top 10 political events that shaped Nigeria in 2024. We've just talked about the adoption of a new national anthem, which is actually the old national anthem, which was returned. You understand? And then, of course, yes, Labour will not forget that after several backs and forth with the Nigerian government, the national minimum wage was finally increased from 30 to 70,000 naira. After so many negotiations at the table, after calling on and off of industrial action at different points, Labour achieved that 70,000 naira minimum wage, raised from 30,000 to 70,000 naira. This was in response to rising cost of living and after prolonged negotiations between labor unions and government officials.
Well, for me, it was a feat on the part of of TUC and NLC. A feat in the sense that they were able to negotiate for a double increment in their pay. That's from 30 to 70. It has never happened in the history of this thing in Nigeria. This is the first time that they are achieving that.
But from 18 to 30 was an almost double increase.
It is 18 by 2, understand me, is 36.
That's why I say almost.
But this one from 30 to
70
to
is
70.
more than.
Yes. So that's why I say they've never had it this good. But the government is still messed it up. So what government did was they give with their right hand and now take it back with their left hand. That's exactly what government did, because that increase in the price of fuel messed up that increment. Understand? So, or the value of that of that minimum wage decreased with the increment in the price of fuel. So they can no longer celebrate that achievement, because what they intended to achieve was something better for them. That's when they go to the market, they'll get something better. That's their life will change. But with the increase in the price of fuel, it wasn't what they expected that they received.
And so, even as we go into 2025, the NLC and TUC are saying that they would like for minimum wage to be increased every year. Do you think that is possible? And even if it is possible, I mean, can it happen right here in Nigeria?
Well, for me, even if it's to happen, NLC, TUC should not only be pushing. That their demand to me is selfish. Understand? Always pushing for salary increment. Understand? What is the percentage of those working in government? What's their percentage? Over 80% of Nigerians are self-employed or are working not under government. So pushing for just what favors you only, to me is not right. So they should be advocating for every Nigerian. Understand? They should be advocating for the overall good, not just what concerns you, which is a minimum wage. They can be pressing for the reduction in the price of electricity, in the price of transport. Understand? Inflation, what will concern everybody. That's fuel. So, and when they are doing this, majority of Nigerians will support them. But if it becomes every year you're asking for minimum wage, which only affects few percentage of the people, they will lose the support of other Nigerians who are not working under the government.
You're tuned into the recap right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. My name is Choma Innocent, and the voice you've been hearing belongs to Mr. Peter Anoske. We are discussing and analyzing political issues that shaped Nigeria's political landscape, that shaped the polity in the year 2024. Top 10 of these issues, not all of them, all right? Top 10 political events that shaped the year 2024. We've talked about the adoption of a new national anthem. We've also talked about the increase in national minimum wage from 30 to 70,000 naira after prolonged negotiations between the labor unions, the NLC and the TUC, and the federal government officials. Most states have been signing for the new minimum wage to be passed into law. 70, 71, 72, 75,000. Some states are even paying 76,000, while there are other states that have not said anything.
Some states announced 80. Some states announced 80. But minimum, it has been signed into law, so no state will pay below 70, whether they say something or they did not say. No state will pay below 70 because 70 is the minimum.
All right. Let's move forward in the conversation and talk about the incessant collapse of the national grid in the year 2024. The national grid collapsed so much in 2024 that it became a joke. It collapsed so much in 2024 that the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, had to come out and tell Nigerians, oh, you have to save your energy by switching off your fridge. You have to save your energy. You don't have to leave all your lights and everything on throughout. As at 3 weeks ago, that was say second week of December, the national grid had collapsed 12 times in 2024. Would we be seeing better power supply, better energy generation in 2025, or we still continue to experience this epileptic?
Well, I'm not the power minister. I am not the power minister, and the journalist that went for the presidential media chat disappointed Nigerians. When they asked Tinubu, what about reducing your cabinet? Tinubu said that all his ministers are doing well. Can they point to anyone that is not doing well? And none of them responded. Which means the power minister is also doing well. Understand? So since he is doing well, I'm not him, so, and nothing has really improved there, because one, that the national grid was built when the population of Nigeria was not above 56 million. And the upgrading is not going on as it should. Upgrading is not going on as it should. And there are 4 major issues that is causing the collapse of the national grid. Number, as I said, it was built when the population of Nigeria was not up to 56 million. So one of them is that supply demand is higher than supply. The demand is higher than than supply. That is number one. So, which means it is being overstretched. It is being overstretched. So that's number one. Number two is volatility. When you put something very, very heavy on it, understand me, it causes it. Then the third one is corruption. Corruption is the third one, because they are not using the right equipment in servicing the national grid. Now, they are making money from it, buying substandard equipment. They will be giving money that's to buy equipment for the maintenance. They will go and buy substandard equipment. So these are some of the reasons, understand, why it is collapsing. Between 2012 to 2022, that's a span of 12 years, the national grid collapsed 222 times. 222 times. Because of these factors that I have told you. When the national grid was built, the population of Lagos State was not up to 7 million. But today, Lagos is over 15 million. So demand is far higher than supply. Again, we have a very poor maintenance culture. Corruption too. So these are some of the reasons. But there's somebody in charge who should have been tackling this, but he is not doing it.
And so in 2025, it's going to remain the same, even though the power minister Adebayo Adelabu has talked about more generation for more power generation.
I say I'm not the power minister, so I don't know whether
no, based on what we've seen so far.
Well, for me, I don't really believe everything that government said. This is the 4th day of the new year. It has not collapsed in 2025. So my prayer, my wish is let it continue this way.
That's why I asked the question is I recall that the Power Minister said the federal government is planning to add an additional 150 megawatts to the national grid by the end of the year. So that could be the reason why we've not seen any collapse till now.
No, that's it has nothing to do with it. Adding more megawatts simply means generation. Understand? So which will increase the number of minutes or hours will be having a power supply.
You're listening to the recap right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM 4:31 p.m. on the number one station that gives you a voice. This is the recap where we discuss and analyze issues that made major headlines during the week. And today we're talking about issues that made major headlines in the year 2024. It is the very first edition of the program in the year 2025. If you're just joining us, you're welcome. At 5 p.m. the phone lines will be open so that you can share your thoughts, your ideas and your suggestions with us on everything that we will be discussing up until 5 p.m. We've talked about the adoption of a new national anthem. We've talked about the increase in the national minimum wage and of course the incest and the collapse of the national grid, which collapsed 12 times last year. And then of course we cannot move further without talking about the End Bad Governance protest that took place from August 1 to 10. Now this nationwide protest erupted due to a cost of living crisis and rising cost of food insecurity and others in the country, when Nigerians blamed the president's new reforms over the removal of fuel subsidy, devaluation of the naira. Yes, now a lot of things happened during the End Bad Governance protest. People hit the streets in major cities across the country from August 1 to 10, even though it fizzled out before the 10th. Mr. Peter Anaske, I just want to evaluate the success of that protest, especially since another one took place in October, called Fearless in October.
Well, not addressing that issue is what happened in December. I'm talking of the stampede. It is because the End Bad Governance demand was not addressed. The consequence was what we saw in Ibadan, in Abuja, and in Anambra, hunger. We are more than 72 people were marched to death because they went out to look for what to eat. The reason is because the demands of the End Bad Governance were not met. Because government talked about giving some people waivers to import food, which they say will take about 6 months. That's 150 days. But because that was not done, the consequence was the deaths that was recorded during December. And that some people were buying rice, about 120,000 naira during December. So just because the demands were not addressed, government was arrogant in addressing the needs of the people.
And so you said the protest did not yield any positive impact.
For me, if it yields, those people that died out of hunger would not have died. Understand? If it has yielded any impact, food would not have cost as much as it cost during December, and those young people, those children that died in Ibadan would not have died. The widows that were marched to death in Anambra, it wouldn't have happened. The one in Abuja would not have happened.
After the protests, of course, the one in August, End Bad Governance, the one in October, Fearless in October, the federal government planned to hold a youth confab in the first few months of this year, 2025.
It's a very big jamboree.
Why do you think so?
It's a very big jamboree. Who is a youth? Do you know that the first Minister of Youth Development that Tinubu appointed was 62? Are you aware of it? The first minister of the youth that he appointed was a 62-year-old man being appointed minister of youth. What does he know about youth? Understand me? So this government don't even know that who are the youths. That is number one. What are the modalities of appointing people who will go for the conference? So that's where it will begin that to fail. Because you will see senators, understand, ministers, National Assembly people bring government telling them bring delegates to the conference. They will send their children. Understand me? That is what is going to happen. And they say it's for 30 days. What are you going to discuss for 30 days? Let me tell you what is going to happen. They are going to lodge them in a hotel, bring comedians, bring musicians. They will sing and dance. At the end of the day, money will be shared. They will go home. So
how are you so sure that's what will happen? You are preempting it already.
I'm no more a small boy. I know how Nigeria works. I know how Nigeria works. What are the modalities of bringing up the delegations to this conference? It is not going to be transparent. Senators who will hijack it. They will send their own children. Governors who will send. Now, House of Reps people will send. At the end of the day, they will not lodge them in a hotel for 1 month. Eat, dance, understand? Comedians. At the end of the day, money will be shared. They will come out with a communique. So if you want to educate the youth or enlighten the youth, what are you going to discuss for 30 days? What training are you going to give them for 30 days? So for me, it is a very big jamboree.
And you don't expect anything to come out of it?
Nothing is going to come out of it. Well, they say first quarter of this year. First quarter should be between January to March, understand, or April. By June, let us know. It is a jamboree.
You're listening to Voice of the People 90.3 FM. This is the recap where we discuss and analyze issues that made the major headlines during the week. And for the very first edition of Recap in the year 2025, we're looking at top 10 issues that dominated national discourse in the year 2024. Top 10 political events that shaped the nation in 2024. We've talked about the adoption of a new national anthem. We've talked about the increase in national minimum wage. We've talked about the continuous collapse of the national grid. We're just talking about the protest, the End Bad Governance protest in August and the Fearless in October protest in October, and evaluating if they had any positive impact at all on the people that is going forward. We still do have a lot to discuss, so we'll be moving forward in the conversation and talk about the cabinet reshuffle. President Tinubu implemented a cabinet reshuffle dismissing the ministers of education, tourism, women's affairs and youth development, as well as the junior minister for housing. He dismissed about 5 ministers and appointed 7 more, and it was such a moment because Nigerians talked about it a lot, and they talked about one particular minister who they felt was always working, but yet she was removed and another person appointed in her stead. And then we have a man heading the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, and many Nigerians are saying that is supposed to be a woman's ministry. Recall that that's the ministry Better I Do is leaving after allegations of financial mismanagement. Let me land. So this cabinet reshuffle was also one of those issues that dominated the discussion that made headlines for many weeks in the year 2024. At his media chat, the president said that all of his men are effective and he has no regrets, and that he actually looked at them very well before he appointed them. A lot of Nigerians have been talking about cutting down the cost of governance. So we could look at this cabinet reshuffle issue from several different angles.
Well, for me, let me start with the humanitarian affairs, understand me, which Do you know, as we speak, I don't know who the humanitarian affairs minister is, or if it is still okay. Women affairs, where Uju Ohanaeze was. Understand? I don't know who replaced her because that ministry has gone under.
It's Professor Nentawe Uwatda. He is the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs,
is that a
Disaster
Nigerian?
Management. Yes, I think he's from Plateau State. The professor from Plateau State.
Okay.
Nentawe Goshwe Uwatda, but he's a man.
Okay, so the issue is this: the noise about a cabinet reshuffle. I said it that nothing will come out of it. Understand? Because Tinubu is a party man. Tinubu is a party man, and he knows the importance of numbers. He will not want to implement the Orosanya report because it is going to affect a lot of people. Understand? Orosanya report which will streamline governance and reduce the cost of governance in the country, because a lot of departments, ministries are duplicated in this country. So Orosanya will help to streamline them. An instant, EFCC, ICPC. Understand me? When you have just one, that's one anti-graft agency, you have saved a lot of money. But Tinubu cannot do this. So, or the appointment was a disappointment. The appointment was a disappointment. And since then, what changes have we seen? We have not seen any changes. It is still what we are hearing in January that we had in December. So nothing really has changed. There's no quantity person in his ministry. There's no quantity.
No, not one person stands out. For
mention one. Under Obasanjo, I can proudly say Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Under Jonathan, I can proudly say Akinwumi Adesina. Mention anybody in Tinubu, in Buhari's own, shoe shiners all. Mention anybody in Tinubu's own, shoe shiners. So that's why nothing has changed. That is why nothing has changed. Because if you appoint somebody on his own merit, he will come and run on his own intelligence. You cannot intimidate him. That's why Obasanjo could not intimidate Okonjo-Iweala. Okonjo-Iweala has her records. Understand? But when you appoint somebody from the gutter, understand, or because he failed the election, or because he helped you to rig an election, he's your boy. So Akinwumi Adesina was not Jonathan's boy. So Jonathan could not have intimidated him. Okonjo-Iweala was never Obasanjo's boy. That's why I still insist ministers should be appointed based on their own merit, based on their own antecedents, what they have done before. That they are just coming to serve and not that they are looking for appointments. So these are two different issues. Somebody coming to serve and somebody looking for appointment. Tinubu appointed those who are looking for appointment. When Okonjo-Iweala was given a minister, she was not looking for appointment. He came to serve. So when you fill your cabinet with people who are looking for jobs, it's like employing monkeys to come and work for you.
You're listening to Voice of the People 90.3 FM. This is the recap where we discuss and analyze the issues that made the major headlines during the week. The voice you've been hearing belongs to Mr. Peter Anoske. He is the political analyst on Seat Today, and we're talking about all the political events that shaped the year 2024, political events that made the major headlines in the year 2024. It's the very first edition of the recap in the year 2025, and so we need to talk about these issues and prefer solutions where necessary. We've talked about quite a range of issues, from the change of the changing of the national anthem to the collapse of the national grid to the increase in minimum wage to the end bad governance protest, and we've just talked about the cabinet reshuffle. Let's talk about another very pertinent issue, which is the 2024 U.S. presidential election. It drew significant interest from Nigerians. Well, the contest was between the now president-elect Donald Trump and of course the current vice president, who's vice president to Kamala Harris, who is a vice president to President Joe Biden. So I know you have a lot to say about the US presidential elections, but many Nigerians were interested in that elections because they felt that there was a potential impact of the candidates' policies on Nigeria, right? So how does the Donald Trump or Kamala Harris presidency, how does it influence decisions in Nigeria? How does it impact Nigeria in any way? Yes, Nigerians can do well to be interested in politics, but being interested for the purpose of, oh, this person's presidency might serve us. I mean, 50 states in the US, wouldn't anyone who won have been more preoccupied with the issues of governance in their own country than looking at what's happening in Nigeria?
No, for me, Donald Trump is the president of the United States.
And not Nigeria.
And not Nigeria. So we cannot expect Donald Trump to come and save us here. And America and the Western world care only about their own interest. They don't love Africans. Understand me? They care only about their own interest, and they go where their interest will be served. But what I feel that Nigerians should learn from the U.S. election is that every election is a referendum. Every election is a referendum, and that is where Nigerians have been failing since 2015. Understand? Now, we gave you a 4-year mandate. At the end of that 4 year, you want to seek re-election. We have to appraise you. How did you do? Did you keep your promises? Understand? Did you keep your promises? That is what happened in the United States and nothing more. Americans compared their life before that's from 2016 to 2020, and from 2020 to 2024. They discovered that things were better between 2016 to 2020, and they made their decision. That's an appraisal. So election is nothing but a referendum, appraising somebody that you have voted. All the promises that he made, did he keep them? That is all. So if we are doing this, APC should not have been in office by now. Because when we check the quality of life of Nigerians under PDP and APC, it is obvious that under PDP was better. So election is all about appraisal and nothing more. And the earlier we begin to do this thing for us, understand me? The earlier we know that election is a referendum on the mandate that you give to a candidate, the better for us.
This is Voice of the People, 90.3 FM, 11 minutes before 5 p.m. We still have quite a lot to talk about, so let's move on and talk about the Ibadan explosion, which happened earlier in the year. This was before April, I recall, because I was working that evening when I saw someone posted about that on Twitter, and people took it up from there as they're talking about it. That was even before mainstream media, traditional media could really confirm. I had made calls to Ibadan, and been told, look, something just happened in Ibadan and we don't know what it is. It turned out to be that some illegal miners stored improvised explosive devices in a residential area, and it caused quite a lot of problems for the people and the government.
So it is bad, and I feel your state government has taken care of it. A lot of them, people died, and there's no way those people can come back to life. But some of the people responsible are in detention now as we speak.
But how about measures to actually curb illegal mining in several areas of the country, and also make sure that we know the people and we vet the people that we're giving our mining licenses to, and the people that they employ to carry out these jobs? Because storing improvised explosive devices, that's bombs, in a residential area, it shouldn't even be coming close to residential areas at all.
So that's a country where the life of people are not taken serious, because they will not have done such a thing in countries that value their citizens. But this is a country where anything can happen.
All right, let's talk about, we have about 2 or 3 more topics to go before we have to open the phone lines. All right, but still we need to talk about preventive measures, Mr. Anoske, which was why I asked that question, to make sure that these does not happen again, not just in Ibadan but in other states in the country.
No, simple thing. Whatever belongs to the mining site should be kept in the mining site. You cannot mix fire and fuel. It is wrong to bring those things in where people are staying, and again, again, it is even wrong to be doing illegal mining in cities.
All right. Let's talk about other issues, and this one is not what I'm very happy to talk about. The next 2 topics: the Kuriga kidnapping, where over 200 pupils and a teacher were kidnapped in the town of Kuriga in Kaduna State, but they were later free. Did you recall seeing that video of pupils in school uniform being released from kidnappers then, and just looking so disheveled?
They were not freed, they paid ransom. They were not freed, they paid ransom.
Okay, they were not freed, they were released.
It is when ransom was paid that they were set free. Understand? Then government was saying that they rescued them. It wasn't a rescue. Ransom was paid. Understand? Because when they said that they have rescued them, I asked a question. For you that to rescue them, there must have been a shootout. Understand? They did not report of any shootout anywhere. If there's a shootout, you have arrested those that kidnapped them. But since you just you saw them somewhere and you go and just carry them and put inside they paid ransom and they were released. And mind you, National Bureau of Statistics said that 2.2 trillion naira was paid as a ransom between 2023 and 2024. That is our own trusted NBS. So they were rescued. I'm happy that they were rescued and had gone to their home, because I was wondering, how can you kidnap 200 people in Kaduna and take them all the way to Zamfara? Understand? Which bag would you put them? Which bus would you put them? Which road would they pass that our security agencies would not see them? So then it was a mystery. It was a very big mystery, but I thank God that the children are now back to their parents.
All right, then from there we talk about the Ibadan, Anambra, and Abuja stampedes. The one in Ibadan happened on a Wednesday, and on that same week on a Saturday, we heard about the one in Anambra and the one in Abuja, where people went to receive palliatives to cushion the hunger and solve the hunger in their bellies, and instead, what they met was an untimely end.
Well, that shows you the level of hunger in the country. And that's simply what it showed you. That death simply show the level of hunger in the country. That what government is telling us is not true. As an economist, there's a very big difference between growth and development. Tinubu government prioritizes growth instead of development. Growth simply means that GDP is increasing. Understand? Foreign reserve is doing well. But development is what affects the people. Understand me? Development is what affects all the people. So some governments prefer growth to the development. And Tinubu government is one of them. And this is what you see when a government prefer growth to development.
All right. 4 minutes before 5 p.m. Don't forget that at 5 p.m. on the dot, the phone lines will be open so that we can hear from you. I can see that some people are already calling. We'll be taking calls by 5 p.m. You can also send your messages on WhatsApp, but that will begin from 5 p.m. The federal and the certain state governments took measures to make sure that these does not happen again by saying that event organizers and coordinators must have certain things in place before events will go on, and also register with the state before having any event. Is this enough to curb stampedes at palliative distribution centers, or why don't we actually have what it is that will make people stop queuing for palliatives?
Make food available for them. Create environment that will make food available to the people. An instance, if there's if there's security, people can go to their farms. And if the Fulani, I'll keep on saying it, if the Fulani herdsmen are disarmed, people will start going to their farms. And when people start going to their farm, the prices of food in the country will come down. That is number one. People that are saying establish vigilante. If you establish vigilante can only carry knife, cutlass. You cannot use a knife and fight somebody who has AK-47. So for there to be security, government should start as soon as possible to disarm all the Fulani herdsmen that are going about with AK-47.
Is it just them or any non-state actors that are going out, or people that are not security agencies that are going about with weapons?
We're not talking about going on the middle. We're talking about farms. We're talking about hunger here. These Fulani herdsmen are in the forest, in the farms. So they need to be disarmed so that farming will continue. Then number two is for federal government to reduce import duties. If federal government reduces import duties or give waivers to importers, the prices of food will fall drastically. So these are the measures that they should be taking, instead of saying if you want to hold an event, you come and register. That's to us, it does not make any meaning.
And finally, just before we open the phone lines, the public disagreement between UK Conservative Party leader Kemi Badenoch and Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima. You do know that first up, it was Kemi talking about Nigeria, talking about Nigerians, and how it seems that she does not want to be associated with the country anymore. She talked about insecurity, she talked about police brutality, and in response, the Vice President Shettima told her to drop the Kemi from her name if she's not happy being Nigerian, rather than criticizing the country continuously. And there were people who were on Kemi's side. There were people who were on Vice President Kashim Shettima's side.
How many
But in all
people?
of this,
How many people were on Shettima's side?
oh, there were quite a number
Government
of people.
agents.
Just the same way when when someone asked Davido, "Can I come to the country?" and he said, "Don't come at this point. The economic climate of the country is not favorable," and he got a lot of flack for that. Many people were not happy with him for saying that.
Davido was being honest.
And you think so was Kemi Badnoch?
Kemi Badnoch said that she is a Yoruba. She never denied Nigeria. She said that she is a Yoruba. Nothing to do with northern Nigeria where there are Boko Haram. She said that she is a Yoruba and has nothing in common with northern Nigeria where there is Boko Haram. That's the truth. In 1947, Obasanjo's expression. Understand me? So Kemi was being factual. Then she talked about how a policeman stole his brother's shoe. Is it not going on now? It is still going on now. So for me, I didn't see anything wrong with what she said. And the remedy to criticism is do the right thing. If somebody is insulting you that you are poor, try and become rich, he will keep quiet. So if Nigerians are not happy with what Kemi is saying, let them do the opposite. That's my position.
All right then, 2 minutes past 5 p.m. right here on the number one station that gives you a voice. This is Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. My name is Chioma Innocent. The voice that you've been hearing belongs to Mr. on the hat of the labor unions. We talked about the incessant collapse on the hat of the labor unions. We talked about the incessant collapse of the national grid, which collapsed 12 times in the year 2024. That is like one collapse a month.
One collapse, 1 month.
And there were months where we even had to. There was even a month. There was even a month where it was within 2 or 3 days that it collapsed.
Sure.
All right. Then we also talked about the End Bad Governance protest and, of course, the Fearless in October protest. We talked about the cabinet reshuffle where President Tinubu sacked 5 ministers and appointed 7 more. We talked about the U.S. presidential elections. It was a crazy one with Donald Trump going against Kamala Harris and coming out victorious. We talked about the explosion in Ibadan where illegal miners stored improvised explosive devices, IEDs, in residential areas, causing quite a lot of problem for the people and the government. We talked about the Kuriga kidnapping, where some pupils in the school in Kaduna were kidnapped by terrorists who later released them. Then we talked about the stampede in Ibadan, Anambra and Abuja. And finally, we talked about the face-off between UK Conservative Party leader Kemi's Vice President Kashim Shettima on the state of the nation. So coming up, I want to hear from you. Let's talk about these issues that shaped Nigeria's political landscape in the year 2024. We didn't even talk about the minors that were arraigned in court.
Well, that was a international embarrassment for Nigerians. That was part of the end bad governance protest because that was when they were picked up.
So, those are the issues which we have discussed this evening. Those are the issues which we want your contribution to. All right. So, it's time for you to contribute to these issues. Call me up 0700 903 903 903 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call to be a part of this conversation. I want to hear from you. A Voice of the People 90.3 FM. If we don't hear your voice, waiting we gain. You're the reason why here is the very first edition of the recap in the year 2025, and we'll take as many calls as possible. Send a message on WhatsApp as well, and we'll be taking your messages, okay, before the end of the program. We're streaming live on YouTube, so head on over to YouTube and type into your search bar VOP 903 FM to be a part of these conversations. Leave a comment and I'll take it before the end of the program. Welcome to the recap. Good evening. You're my very first caller for the year 2025.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Hi. What's your name and location, please?
Hello.
I can hear you. What is your name and location, please?
This is Babalola calling you from Magudo.
Welcome, Babalola. How are you doing today? He greets you too.
My take is on three top 10 issues there.
Okay.
I will talk on national item.
All right. You have 1 more minute and 30 seconds, please, so we can hear others.
Okay. Based on that national item, there is nothing that this man is doing than self-recognition. He doesn't want to make me about it. Nothing the national item is contributing to the nation. Then secondly, that salary increment, I see it as rubbish, as bandadash.
Why now? 30 to 70,000 naira. That's a huge leap.
Yes, because the private sector, they are not benefiting anything from me. So that is not proper way of doing things. Because as I'm talking to you, I know most of private people that they are not benefiting from me at all. So I cannot accept that is increment to my own side.
Okay, what's the final issue you want to speak on?
You said?
What is the final issue you want to speak on?
And this national grid of a thing. I see a lot of corruption surrounding it. So there's nothing more than that.
Thank you.
I don't have anything to say more than that.
Thank you so much, Babalola. Thank you. I appreciate your call. Thank you for keeping it short and simple. Every caller gets 2 minutes today. No more, no less. We want to pick as many calls as we can. 0700 903 903 903 0700 903 903 903. Turn off your radio set before you call me. Welcome. All right then. Turn off your radio set before you give me a call. Welcome to Recap. Good evening. How you doing? Hello, are you there? Welcome to Recap. How you doing?
I'm okay. Shoma.
Great. Welcome to the conversation, please. 2 minutes.
Yeah. I think the kind of people have said it about the election in Nigeria. Election naturally is appraisal. Giving somebody his handwork or his past record. But in Nigeria, what you are seeing is this man is from my place. He has performed. Do you see that yesterday or day before yesterday, he tried and visited the president? That most of them came there just to justify that he's performing. They are feeling the impact of the society, what is going on, but just because it's from their own area. I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about. So all these things can never go anywhere with this system we are doing in this country. Nationalism, tribalism. Even in the face of hardship and everything, some are still telling you that making it there. Is it not like this before? What do we meet on ground? I'm telling you. Just simple that this is it for my area, this is my religion, this is my tribalism, this is all this.
Thank you so much for your call.
Nigeria is a very terrible country. I wonder if you come out of this about.
Thank you. I appreciate it. 0700 903 903 903. Welcome to the Recap. Good evening. Hello, are you there? All right, give me a call back. 0700 903 903 903 0700 903 903 903. Call me up. We're having conversations on the Recap, talking about the issues that shape the political landscape in 2024. Turn off your radio set. All right, give me a call back. Definitely want to hear from you, but that will only happen if you turn off your radio set. Welcome to Recap. Good evening.
Well, welcome, Chelma. Oh, good evening. My name is Emeka.
Emeka, how are you doing? Where are you calling me from?
I'm calling you from Yaba area.
Good to hear from you, Emeka.
Thank you. Did I hear you say 70,000 naira is a huge leap as a salary increment?
Well, 30 to 70,000 naira. The difference is clear. I'm not saying it's enough for Nigerian workers, but just from 30 to 70,000 naira is an over 100% increase. That's what I meant.
All right. I thought you meant it to the effect of...
You can't buy a bag of rice. It is not a huge sum of money. You cannot buy a bag of rice.
It couldn't even make you a dress. It couldn't make one of your dresses in your wardrobe. So let's even stop equating or comparing it to a bag of rice, because rice isn't all we eat every day for the whole of the month.
But it's a staple.
That doesn't even make it a good... Huh?
It's a staple.
Sorry?
It's a staple in every Nigerian household. At least if you have a bag of rice at home, you don't have to worry too much if there's nothing to eat. Even if you're eating the same thing every day, as long as you get something to eat. I'm talking about this in the context of the poverty in the nation.
We've been boxed and conditioned. Honestly, we are like that frog that's been kept in a jar with a cover to the top. And when the frog keeps fighting and fighting, at the point you take the lid off the jar, the frog doesn't even know that it's now free to jump out because it's been conditioned. We've been conditioned to misery and poverty, and we compare these things, we compare our life. Look, we all have just one life to live. These people who enjoy and fly in birds that cost over 250 billion naira, they're humans, they're born of a woman. For God's sake, now, if one dies today, you resurrect tomorrow and start living life again. When you're gone, you're gone. So you deserve all the best. So when you say 70,000 is a good leap, my dear, it's below. How much is that in dollars? It's look at what this government has done to the people. Look at what they've done. They've even destroyed the mentality and thought processes of a lot of us. We think crumbs, we deserve just crumbs. God help us.
Thank you, Emeka. Thank you so much for your call. I do appreciate it, okay? Keep listening to Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. Welcome to the recap. Good evening. How are you doing today?
Yeah, good evening, Chama Innocent.
Happy New Year.
I wish you the same, my dear. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Yeah,
how's New
you have
Year
not
in
replied, but I
Spain?
just sent this thing. You check it now.
Right
the
now?
message.
Right now?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Are you
check it
sending
now,
a message with
exactly.
with a different number?
Yeah, send before you pick.
Okay.
And
Can you hear me,
New Year, my
Zerinadi?
brother.
He's greeting you, Mr.
Yeah, exactly.
Muslim.
Okay. Happy New Year, my brother.
Thank you so much.
Okay. May God bless you, my brother, for hitting every time you come out to hit the nail on the head. So I appreciate you. Okay, Choma, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, Choma, on this thing, on the national anthem, I just said the hymn of national hymn. I wonder that this thing, Senate President Ababio said with the national hymn, this new national hymn that we
Which one is national hymn?
That's a national. They call it hymn national.
It's a hymn now. It's a hymn.
But at least we call ours the national anthem. So can we
Okay.
stick to that? All right, go ahead,
It is a national
Zerinadi.
hymn.
Go ahead, Zerinadi.
Okay. I remember Fabio, before we talk about the spending, how if they spend money, they share that money, they will not go like that. They will return it. You see, Fabio said that with this thing now, this security, there will be nothing be like we will not talk of insecurity again. Up to now, they are still killing in Benue and all these things, all these places in the north. So I don't know if people can just in meantime up your one and ask him questions so that people can know that at least let us know here his respond, what you will respond. So that's one. On the minimum wage, I agree with somebody that first called that this thing is nonsense, rubbish. Because when they are paying 18,000 naira, rice, people buy a bag of rice 5,000 naira, sorry. Now look at this, the one of this thing. What is the meaning of this thing? At the end of it, just take it to 70,000. People cannot even buy half a bag of rice. When they are paying 18, 30, people can buy rice, even spend this in travel to for Christmas and spend time with their family. But now, most people are called. They say they don't have no even transportation to go. People that depend on government, work on for depend on government to live. That's this thing. I don't know how this thing. People will just be happy that celebrating that the people. Increase it for what? They cannot. That have no meaning. So Choma, I don't know. Choma, for this thing is this. Mr. Masike talked something on this people that Tinubu pick to work with him. He mentioned use this thing about this guy, this woman, Batanjo, Jonathan.
Okonjo Wanda.
I don't want to. Now, this is how this work in Europe. You see somebody, even those days, Nigeria focused on the America. Work, you see Trump, there's employ people, there's a couple of people to his ministers, most of them resigned. Some of them, you cannot tell them what to do. They just see their work. That is why it's happening in this thing. But don't pick people that he can control, maybe people that have nothing to give, to offer. I know those days, area boys, those days, when they bring democracy, about took over, most of them that I saw that the area boys went to the government. That is people that they pick. They don't have anything to offer. So, my dear sister, I'm just this thing. I'll just apologize to Esther Machuku. Yesterday I was pissed off when people so worried was criticizing this Obi. I just shouted and they called this, and I want to appreciate and ask him for forgiveness. It's not my doing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
have
you
a great day,
for
my
your call.
sister. So take my listen and respond.
Yes,
Okay?
I'll surely respond to that.
Okay,
Thank
okay.
you so much for your call. 0700 903 903 903 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call to be a part of this conversation. I want to hear from you. Call me up. This is the recap right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Welcome to Recap. Good evening. How are you doing today?
Good evening. Miss Chama, right?
Yes, please. What's your name and location?
Happy New Year. My name is Doke from Agoda.
Welcome to the conversation.
I have two things you mentioned. So I want to emphasize on that. See, I don't know why this country. I don't even know why they use you for us, our government. Then they use you for us. Then they whine us. How can you go to Kaduna, kidnap, you run, you pass those security on the way, and we go reach east. There you go. Any checkpoint you reach, they plenty. They collect money. Why? Nah, this country, in fact, may God help us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your call. 0700 903 903 903 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call to be a part of this conversation. I want to hear from you. So call me up. This is the recap right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Hello there. How you doing? Welcome to the recap. Welcome to the recap. How you doing? Good evening. What's your name and location, please?
My name is Ade. I'm calling from Ijesha.
Welcome, Ade. Let's hear from you. Let's hear from you quickly.
Sorry, please. I will be talking on 3 or 4 issues that was raised.
All right, 2 minutes, please.
First of all, the minimum wage. They are saying that he has tried increasing minimum wage. Sorry, please. I have a bad voice. The effect of that minimum wage on CPI, that's cost per index of price. Cost price index of commodity in Nigeria has really increased and is affecting the purchasing power of that money that is being paid. That people are thinking there's increased minimum wage, there's more money to spend. No, the purchasing power of that money that is being increased has reduced. Secondly, I will go to insecurity. Concerning insecurity, see, I happen to be a military man. Security is like a business in this country. Anywhere that you see that there's security issue, know that there's a serious business going on there and the government is benefiting from it. Or some stakeholders, some actors are benefiting from it massively. And the Greek collapse, concerning the Greek collapse, see, everything that we are facing in this country, so corporate organizations, they have frameworks that they use in solving problems. For example, we have Six Sigma. I believe people that are listening around, they should understand what is Six Sigma. It's a kind of framework that can be used to reduce waste and maximize productivity. Why can't Nigerian government or all those people that are in offices, that are agencies, apply this framework to reduce waste and maximize our productivity in this country? If they check anything that makes a problem to occur, that means there's error in the input. If we go back to our input on anything we want to do, whether security, whether electricity, whether anything at all, we can apply this framework and follow it with justice to make sure that yes, the result is achieved. So that is just my own.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I do appreciate your message, all right? Thank you so much. Thank you for your call. I do appreciate you. Welcome to Recap. Good evening. How you doing? Turn down the volume on your radio set, please.
Hello?
Hi,
Hello?
turn off your radio
Hello?
set. Please turn off your radio set.
Okay, let me know.
What's your name and location,
hello?
please?
Hello?
What is your name and
Hello?
location? I can hear you. What's your name and location?
Hello?
Gonna have to give me a call back. Think you're experiencing issues with your network. Welcome to the recap. Good evening. How you turn off your radio set and give me a call back. 0700 903 903 903. Guess what? You can call me on WhatsApp, okay? 0817 175 6238. Send a message or call me. You can also leave a comment on YouTube. Are you there? Welcome to recap. Good evening. All right, you're going to have to give me a call back. I definitely want to hear from you. This is Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. We are the number one station that gives you a voice all over the world. So I want to hear from you. You're the reason we're here. Let's talk about these issues. What's your name and location, please?
Yeah, good evening. This is Ayodeji from Agbado.
Welcome, Ayodeji. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you. Fine, thank you.
Great to hear from you. Please go right ahead.
The only thing that I just want to add is just that on the issue of the national debt,
Go ahead.
you know, the system has been, the problem has been there, not now. And it's just unfortunate that when you have the wrong person at the right position, when you have the right person at the right position, so such thing, you can't do without it. So I just hope that going forward, there will be an improvement. They will be able to get it right and get it right. If there is light, I believe a lot of things will change a lot of things within the economy. It will have positive effects on the issue of buying fuel for your small business and this thing. Those things. In fact, I can assure you there are a lot of businesses now that they will wait. They know if they take the light.